Hey everybody, welcome back to Mom Can Another. We're playing Cop 01. This is the first game in the Cop series.
We're playing Cop 1, which makes Cop 2 look like Cop Out, starring Liam Neeson.
Oh, fuck.
Help me.
Oh, is that Colonel Sanders?
Kidnapped by Liberace.
Oh, you have a jetpack.
Yeah,
you're that kid with the jetpack and the magnifying glass that Dr. Z mentions.
Oh, God. Wait, I'm getting chased by
that
fire.
For the next little boy with a jetpack and the magnifying glass.
This is an emergency. You're really, you are Cop 1. You're like the ultimate emergency responder.
Well,
I am Cop number 1.
This is a historical drama. This is what law enforcement was like in its
This is a historical
infancy.
tragedy.
This is what law enforcement was like in its infancy when they just had one dude with a jetpack and a gun,
and he had to
he
fight
was
bats.
beset. He was beset upon at all sides by other gunmen, fire, and bats.
And basketball hoops of some kind.
Also, soap dispensers that tried to shoot him.
Are the
Oh, God,
bats
they figured out how to
criminals,
duck,
or
guys. This is going to be pretty hard to do now.
I think they could all be Dracula if you aren't careful.
Collectively, all of them form a Dracula.
Oh, God.
Well, it's
Why'd you
like
go
any
back to the
given one of them
conflagration?
could be Dracula. You can never be sure, so you can't
I
let
see.
any of them live. Yeah.
Guilt by association. Or are they just
Yes.
party to a crime? Are the bats just like accessories to a crime?
The bats just take
I think-
my jetpack power away.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Oh, civil asset forfeiture, motherfucker. How
They're
do you
drinking
like
your jet fuel, and so you can't let that go by because they are ballooning the municipal budget.
But every time I shoot...
confiscate these bats because we suspect they may have been involved in a crime, but we don't have to prove it.
Dodge the bats, shoot Andy Capp to death.
Oh yeah, it is just a lot of Andy Caps. He finally has a purpose in life. Good for him.
One of them will drop some hot fries.
This has some Dilbert 2 vibes, or Dilbert 3, I guess I should say.
If you let any of them get home, they're going to beat their wife.
Did you know
Yeah.
that the guy who
No,
made...
that's the Lockhorns.
Oh, this is science fiction because you got a cop
What?
intervening
You
in a
fucker.
domestic assault case.
That guy was like perfectly jumping over everything.
Yeah, he was.
Stop it.
He
Did you
knows
get-
what you're up to.
Do you know that the guy who made Dilbert, the Dilbert series on YouTube, made a game called Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam, which was an unofficial sequel to Space Jam?
That he made
Nice.
that?
Yeah. I was watching...
Wait, was that Shut Up and Jam Gaiden?
Yes.
Yeah. I was
And he was
say,
gonna make
'cause
a
the Shut
sequel
Up
to
and
that.
Jam was a real game on like 16-bit era.
Well, he
so.
made
Yeah.
an unofficial sequel to that game, which...
I thought that guy graduated from high school in like 2006. That's impressive that he was making Genesis games.
and then,
Well, he had to do something on his way to college.
and then what's even better about it is at the beginning of the game, I don't know if you guys have ever played it. I did download it many, many years ago. But what's funny is at the beginning of it, because I just watched a video on this, it says, "This is canon." And the reason why it says that is because people were debating on Michael Jordan's official Wikipedia for years whether or not Space Jam was canonical to Michael Jordan's life.
Fuck.
It's just like the kind of stupid internet energy that I love.
Yeah,
Instead of just
that's
like...
pretty good. This is, if he ever dies, this is part of his biography.
Yeah, like where does Space Jam fall in Michael Jordan's real life? Does it?
Yeah.
Did Michael
well,
Jordan
yeah,
fuck a cartoon?
I'm thinking the part of Charles Barkley's life
Oh,
where he goes, he undergoes
Right in the fucking
tutelage
face.
by a sentient basketball and learns kung fu and saves the world.
Shut up and
Well, Blade's in there
jam.
too.
Well,
Blade.
Yeah, Blade. Like I actually, like I said, I downloaded the game many years ago, and like it's one of those things where like, this is funny. I'll play through this, and then you just don't.
Your villain looks like Liberace if he had stolen Evel Knievel's costume. That's a weird... And I forget who I was recently talking to who said... who had the very obvious observation where in movies in the 70s and 80s and hell, even into the 90s, villains in movies very commonly... They just had traits that made them seem gay.
Yeah, it's the gay panic,
or
bro.
generally effeminate. It's like if you have a villain, like where they were out of the point where you have your villain be like hyper masculine and like basically your hero but the bad guy, and instead they decided what is evil is if they're
fuck.
just gay.
Like James on Team Rocket.
I mean, kind of.
The most aggressively gay villain in the history of media.
I think
And
James
it was
was
Japanese.
just like confused asexual.
Yeah, I don't think James
Maybe.
is fucking. I think we've already talked about this, haven't we?
I don't know.
Probably.
But
James
if not
ain't
on an
fucking.
episode in our own stupid
Just-
private lives.
That was before the Tombstone conversation.
Yeah,
Tombstone
we've had many a terrible conversation.
But that definitely
much.
seems a post-Mikey world to me.
that was just me wanting to eulogize Nick for something that he didn't do, but I wanted him to have done. And I'm just going to retcon
Yeah,
his
that's
life
what it
after
was.
he's too late.
That's what spawned our whole headstone conversation. Was you said that you were going to have "Eat My Fuck Old Man" put on my headstone after I die.
Right, and then you wanted to make sure very clearly that you would never have a headstone. Then we thought,
Oh no one will ever know where I am. Well, I can't say
where
laid
they
to
put
rest.
you.
Where I stop being.
Most likely it'll be one of those floral arrangements on the side of some lonely Georgia interstate.
That's
Well,
true.
as I said, it would be a rock with something hastily etched into it via Dremel.
Yeah.
And it'll be something like Baby Cake's evergreen statement, "Man, he's not a human being. He's a human bin."
Yeah. Well, as long as that Dremel etches in your immortal phrase.
Fuck.
Fuck, you really pissed that bed.
How am I
Well,
supposed
this
to
is
get
why
past
I
a
have
man
to
who
do it
shoots
myself. Yeah.
You have to fight fire with water.
You have to fight fire with handgun bullets.
Oh, maybe your gun is shooting little pellets of water, like little help.
Do
Fire?
not
Just high
look
pressure
directly-
powered water.
Do
Yeah,
not
bip,
look
bip, bip.
directly into the nozzle.
You have a jetpack, so you can have a water cannon like Metal Gear Solid.
Don't acknowledge the nozzle.
That's what she said.
What the fuck was that thing? I have no idea.
That's the yeah.
Damnedest
That's
thing
the
I ever
nozzle.
seen.
Don't look at it.
What? Is this related to Phil Hartman? What? What?
Don't you remember that scene in Small Soldiers?
It's
that they
still
cut out?
calibrating.
Oh my God! He's not even letting her get her feet on the ground. He's dragging her by her calves across the pavement. At least it looks really smooth.
Yeah.
Or calves
Yeah,
or
there's
the-
no grit.
The animation.
Her freshly shaven legs are providing her some sort of mercy.
Making just like a squeaking sound as they go across the marble floor,
don't
like
think-
in Home Alone 2.
Oh god.
We were talking about the Terminator 2 gasping scene that summarizes my emotional state.
Well,
You know.
Yeah.
But another one of
because
them.
Keith makes that sound constantly. Even before I put two and two together, he's done it many times on this show, as a matter of fact.
But also that scene in Home Alone 2 where Cedric, the bellhop, is splayed out supine on the ground and he gets dragged along. He's like, "Come along, Cedric," and he gets dragged and you just hear that squeak like.
Is that Tim Curry's character?
I think so. And
Yeah, in 2, yeah.
yeah, and
That's
he's just get knocked out by something and he's like stunned like a fish and he just gets dragged along. That's also one of my emotional states.
That's
like
a-
I need.
When you really sit down and think about that, the cast of that movie, it's fucking bizarre. It's got Tim Curry in it. It's got Rob Schneider, and it's also got Donald Trump as a cameo.
Yeah,
which
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, I love to point out to people who are like, fuck Trump, and then you go, yeah, he's in Home Alone 2, and they
He's
go,
in your favorite
"Ah."
movie. Your favorite movie? Well, that's because they filmed on his property, and he was a big New York real estate guy, and that was one of the conditions to film on his shit was I get to be in the movie. I got to walk on cameo in the movie.
Yeah, he was in a whole lot of shit.
Yeah, he was in
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in one episode.
He was in Seinfeld. Trump used to be like
Yeah.
an innocuous, goofy kind of like pop culture staple that people were happy to see. Because like, oh, it's that goofy guy.
It's that guy.
Look, it's him. He's a
I don't
goofy
know
guy.
about
I
it.
recognize him. It's just like
I don't know if he was ever innocuous. Like, he was always kind of a bad guy because, sure,
Well-
plenty of people knew he had, absurd amounts of money because
right, but I mean,
of everything that he's done.
relatively, he was not a controversial figure. You know what I mean? You could have him in your show, and your characters could be like, "Wow, it's Donald Trump," and it wouldn't be like a big whoop. You know, that
Yeah.
level of innocuosity. But
Kyle, you've destroyed the nozzle.
the nozzle.
I'm just going to float on past everything because That guy fucked me
Is
up
there
every
no
single time.
limit to how much? How come you haven't just been bypassing the whole map in general?
Well, 'cause
That's what his
you do have a
charge
limit.
is. That's what he is
that's
jealously
charge.
guarding from bats.
Yeah.
I see.
Gotta make sure the bats don't get my charge.
Are you trying to
Yeah,
get to
you're-
Jesus? Did Buddha
That
kidnap
really
your
does
girl?
look like a long-haired Colonel Sanders with some floozy. It's
Yeah,
really
like
weird.
some kind of unholy or extremely holy, I'm not sure, amalgam of Colonel Sanders and Saraswati.
Extra
Oh, fuck.
holy.
Extra 7 kinds of holy.
11 sorts of gods and disciples. Well,
Chicken, the cleanest of birds.
you can learn about that more
In the
next
Bible.
time.